We get a Thatcher Demko update from the Donnie Dahli Podcast, and it is not what Canucks fans want to hear. And Quinn Hughes reveals the truth in his role in the Keifer Sherwood signing. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Canucks Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any updates surrounding the Canucks as we head into the preseason. With that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is Donnie Dahli Demko update. And we saw here a quote from Elliotte Friedman on his spot in the Donnie Dahli Podcast saying, "I've been told this on Demko. He's making progress. It is slow and steady." And throughout the course of the conversation, other developments did evolve where Demko still isn't taking shots. They're not sure if he's going to be ready for the season opener. Some people think he had a knee scope, but it's not confirmed. And some people believe he was rushed back last year for the playoffs. Now, there's a few of those reports that are not the first that we're hearing of it. The first of which being that he was rushed back before the playoffs. We've talked time and time again about the ideal timeline that the Canucks perhaps had for his return to the postseason and then at the end of the regular season, what they wanted as far as how many games they wanted him to play. So that one doesn't seem too unlikely that one would be true. The other one is the knee scope. People have been talking all the time, this whole time in this offseason of, did he have surgery? Did he have a procedure? Did he have a scope? What is it? This is the first that we're hearing of a knee scope. So with all the things that have been thrown around with this injury, it's interesting to see just what theories have been coming out. We've heard ACL thrown out. We've heard all the other ones thrown out as well. Meniscus, PCL, MCL, all the other ones that you do not want to have happen to your star player in your Vezina caliber goalie. But these are the cards that the Canucks have been dealt. If it is a knee scope, it's better than a surgery where he needed a lot more time to recover from it. But not being ready for the season opener is the one that is concerning, especially when paired with him not taking shots still. That's going to be big for Vancouver because you obviously need him to take shots if he's going to be ready to take him in the game. So he's not ready to do that. We did hear that maybe he was going to be ready for he wasn't going to be playing in training camp or the preseason, but that was because they were optimistic about his season returning or hoping that he would be ready for the season opener. But if he's not going to be ready for the season opener now, he's still not taking shots. This is not looking good as far as him starting the season or starting within those first 25 to 30 games potentially, which means a lot of the weight is going to fall on Artur Shilov's. And to go with that, as far as signing goes, Dahli did add that the Canucks are still actually pursuing free agent goaltenders, Kevin Lankinen and Antti Ranta, but do not want to overspend to save cap space for the trade deadline. For now, Canucks fans will have to wait and see how this unfolds. Demko's health is critical to the team's success, and any extended absence would be a major blow. Here's hoping to get some clarity soon because come regular season, Vancouver will need their star goalie at 100%. This is absolutely true. I mean, this is going to be the biggest thing for Vancouver heading into the regular season is, are we going to have to ride through Artur Shilov throughout the entire season, hope he stays healthy, and just overwork him to death? Or are we going to have our Vezina caliber goalie back between the pipes for a much healthier season than he did last year, playing more games, getting better numbers, potentially winning the Vezina, and getting us past the Western Conference into the Stanley Cup final against the Eastern Conference champions, whoever they may be, and getting over the hump of the Edmonton Oilers in the process? We were one game away from doing it. Had we had Demko, had we had Boeser, no doubt in my mind we were going to make that happen. No doubt in my mind we were going to make a run for the Cup against the Florida Panthers. So if we have all those key pieces back, Boeser's poised for a monster season. Demko is hopefully going to be back and stronger than ever. It's not going to be looking likely to start the season at least, but if he's there for the end of the year and into the playoffs and he's going to be strong and ready to go, that's going to be amazing for the Canucks going forward. That's going to be the perfect thing that they need and the thing that's going to put them over the top in the postseason. But let us know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think about Demko? What do you think is happening with this whole situation? A lot of people have been talking about trading him. I don't know if that's going to be the right move. That's a lot to lose for a guy like that. But again, with all the injuries and all the cap space, it is interesting, and we have been looking at talking about those goalies, Lankinen, Ranta, Jones, all those guys. We've thrown them out a bunch of times, so you can check out our old videos on that, what we think of those guys, how they'd fit in Vancouver. I think Lankinen and Ranta would definitely be the two best fits, but if they're not willing to move money around until the trade deadline, that's that, and we're just going to have to roll with who we have. Get used to Jiri Patera in goal, it seems like, to start the season. But let us know what you guys think down below. That's going to take us into our second topic, which is Hughes the GM. And we see here in a quote from his interview with Sportsnet that I think will be better. We add a lot of depth up front. We added some guys like Jake DeBrusk that can really play, maybe contribute on the power play. I was pretty vocal with Patrik about the Sherwood ad, just playing him in the playoffs, playing against him and playing against Nashville and seeing his competitiveness, what he brings. You need guys like that on a championship team. So this is kind of one of the interesting reports where we're seeing that Quinn Hughes had a hand in the signing of Keifer Sherwood. He definitely wanted him there because he recognized what he brought to the Nashville Predators in the postseason. He was a thorn in our hips. Vancouver Canucks fans were seeing him in their nightmares. That was one of the hardest things about getting through Nashville is getting to get through Keifer Sherwood. Now we got him on our team. Now we can utilize it to our advantage, especially with Dakota Joshua, and especially when you look at the line pairing where you have a guy where him and Dakota Joshua, they can catch a guy in transition to make sure he can't get off the ice and just work him to death, bully him on the ice, just beat him down, and make sure that those 3 and 4 lines are solid throughout, and you're not going to have to rely on them too much. And I think it's interesting to show that Quinn Hughes is kind of playing a bit of the GM role here, where he's trying to go and get guys. He's showing this pull and this star power that guys like Connor McDavid, guys like Sidney Crosby, and other guys that are leaders of their team, but also play a bit of a coaching or GM role where they tell the front office, hey, these are some guys that we should be going out and getting. These are some guys that would fit in perfectly with our team. So him having the initiative and being accepted in doing that by Patrik Allvin, I think that goes to show the trust that this organization has in Quinn Hughes, not only on the ice, but also in off the ice matters as far as front office things, as far as negotiation things, and just trusting in him as far as a consultation perspective or just a signing perspective. It's interesting to see what they're going to be able to do as far as utilizing him in the front office. Who knows? Maybe he has a career in the front office going forward with the Canucks. We know how they like to utilize player alumni, so that'll be an interesting thing to see going forward. But especially when you look at Keifer Sherwood's stats, last season, he had a solid year in Nashville. 68 games, 10 goals, 17 assists, 27 points. Nothing flashy as far as point score, but he was hitting a ton. He was a top 15 hitter to go with a top 10 hitter like Dakota Joshua. And if those guys are playing all 82 games, those guys are definitely both going to be in the top 10, maybe even top 5, especially when they're paired together. That plus 17 rating as well for Sherwood. And Sherwood was able to do all that with only an average ice time of 12 minutes. So if he's getting a lot more ice time with the Canucks and making a bigger impact in that sense, I think it's going to be great to be watching this Vancouver Canucks hockey team going forward as far as their physical identity and seeing what they can do as far as just punishing these teams, making sure that they are the ones attacking and not the ones being attacked as far as from a physical standpoint, making sure that they're always going to be ahead on the hit sheet and not doing it with just their defensemen, doing it with their 2 big power forwards as far as their big bulky enforcers. They're not power forwards in the sense that JT Miller is, but they're power forwards in the sense of just being big bullies. And that's what we want on this team, especially when you have a guy who our captain is advocating for him. Our captain is wanting him on this team because he recognized what he was like in the playoffs against us. So bringing a guy into this team like that, I think it's going to go very great for Vancouver next season, especially when we want to be more physical than Edmonton. We want to rough them up. We want to beat down these teams, and not only our division rivals, but also just around the league and just be consistent throughout and be one of the top hitting teams in the league. But let us know what you guys think down below. Let us know what you guys think as far as Hughes pulling these moves. What's a guy that you would like to see him bring over next? I know we'd love to see the Hughes brothers in Vancouver. Maybe he brings Jack over first, and after a few more years, you bring Luke over first, and then you bring Jack over after a few more years. That might be interesting to see. I know Jack is signed for a long time with New Jersey, but Luke might be something we could swing in the future. Who knows? Possibilities are endless with this as far as Quinn Hughes is concerned with him making moves. Maybe he's not going to be as involved as we may believe, but again, him making this Keifer Sherwood signing happen part and part of him, I think is going to be a great thing going forward. But let us know what you guys think down below, and that's going to take us to the third topic of the day, which is everyone's favorite topic, which is comment of the day. And we see here from Hook Street, monster year for Boeser. I think he's absolutely right. We talked about it in our last video where Boeser is going to be poised for a great year. And like I said earlier in the video, if we have Boeser and Demko back for the playoffs, fully healthy, ready to go at 100%, I have no doubt that Vancouver is going to go far. We're going to go on a cup run, and we're going to keep that Stanley Cup window open, potentially bringing home the hardware if we have everybody healthy. We know the Canucks like to get dealt these injury cards and these injury bugs very frequently, so that's going to be a hard thing to navigate throughout the season. Let us know what you guys think down below. If we have all these guys healthy, do you think that we are Stanley Cup contenders? Can we bring home the hardware? I'd love to hear what you guys think down below. But that's going to do it for this episode of Canucks Digest. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Love to hear what you guys have to say, but that's going to do it for today. I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.